I decided to support my husband. Every week, he would drive to his parents' house to help with chores and bring them my homemade preserves. One day, I wanted to surprise them and deliver the food myself without telling anyone. As I approached the house, I froze when I saw Anna loved order. In this predictability, she found comfort, a quiet haven where she could shelter from the storms of the outside world. Her apartment, with bookshelves lined with literary classics and the scent of freshly baked bread, was a reflection of her love for harmony and structure. She taught literature at the university, immersing herself in the worlds of Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, finding answers to life's eternal questions in their works. Igor, her husband, was her complete opposite. An engineer, a man of precise sciences, he lived in a world of blueprints and calculations. But this difference didn't divide them. Rather, it complemented them. Anna valued his reliability, his ability to solve problems, and his quiet but sincere care. Igor, in turn, admired her erudition, her refined sense of beauty, and her ability to find joy in simple things. Every Sunday, Igor would drive to his parents' village. It was an unspoken ritual, a part of their shared life. He helped with household tasks, fixed fences, and tended the garden. Anna always packed him a bag of food, jars of homemade pickles, soup, cutlets, and pies. She knew Igor's parents loved her cooking, and it brought her joy to do something kind for them. Igor would return in the evening, a bit tired but content. He'd tell her about his parents, village gossip, and the weather. Anna listened, nodded, and asked questions. These Sunday trips were like a small journey to another world for them, a world of silence, peace, and simple pleasures. Anna observed her husband. Lately, he seemed preoccupied. It wasn't that he was less attentive to her. No, he still brought her coffee in the morning, asked about her day, and read her poetry before bed. But there was a shadow in his eyes, something unspoken. He often stared out the window, as if waiting for something or someone. She attributed it to exhaustion or stress from work. Igor was working on an important project, and she knew it drained him. She tried to surround him with care and attention, hoping it would help him through his struggles. One Saturday morning, Anna woke up with an unusual feeling, a desire to surprise him. She decided to drive to his parents' house alone, without warning. She wanted to see them, breathe the fresh air, and escape the city's hustle while Igor was busy with work. She got out of bed, went to the kitchen, and opened the fridge. There were jars of pickles she'd made the previous week. She took them out, placed them on the table, and began packing a bag. She added a few apple pies, some pilaf, and homemade sausage. She knew Igor's parents loved these treats. They had always been delighted by her visits, praising her cooking and asking about her work. Anna imagined arriving, their surprised and happy faces. She smiled. She loved making surprises. She loved seeing joy in others' eyes. She dressed, putting on comfortable jeans and a warm jacket, and glanced out the window. It was sunny, but chilly outside. She decided to wear a scarf as well. She grabbed the bag of food, her car keys, and stepped outside. Their old Neva was parked by the entrance. Anna opened the trunk and carefully loaded the bag, making sure nothing would break. Once done, she got behind the wheel and started the car. The engine roared to life, and the Neva pulled away. Anna drove out of the city, heading down the highway toward the village. She drove calmly, unhurried, enjoying the scenery outside. Fields, forests, rivers, it all seemed so beautiful and serene to her. The drive to the village took about 2 hours. Anna turned on the radio and sang along to the songs. She felt happy and free. Along the way, she imagined how she'd surprise Igor's parents, picturing their joyful faces and their praise for the food. She recalled snippets of conversations and jokes they'd shared over Sunday lunches. A couple of years ago, these trips had always felt like an important part of their family life, a small ritual that strengthened the bond between generations. She drove along the familiar road, savoring the autumn landscape. The trees were dressed in gold, and the sun filtered through the leaves, casting intricate patterns on the asphalt. Anna switched the radio to soft classical music to create an atmosphere of peace and calm. She felt this day would be special, filled with warmth and love. She could never have imagined the storm of emotions awaiting her. As she approached the village, her heart beat faster. She turned onto a dirt road leading to Igor's parents' house. Though she hadn't been there in a while, she recognized the house immediately, a small wooden cottage with carved window frames and a garden bursting with flowers. Anna parked the car by the gate and stepped out, anticipating the reunion. But what she saw made her freeze. On the porch stood Igor with an unfamiliar woman. In her arms was a child, a little boy, no older than 5. Igor was saying something to her, and she smiled in response. This wasn't just a friendly encounter. It was something far deeper. There was an intimacy, warmth, and tenderness in their interaction, something Anna hadn't seen in Igor's eyes when he looked at her lately. She felt the ground slip from under her feet. Her head buzzed, and her vision darkened. She tried to step forward to call out to Igor, but she couldn't. Her voice caught in her throat. She stood paralyzed, unable to believe what she was seeing. At that moment, the boy broke free from the woman's arms and ran to Igor. He wrapped his arms around Igor's legs and said something, looking up at him. Igor crouched down and hugged the boy back. He said something to him, gently ruffling his hair. In that moment, Anna saw love and tenderness in Igor's eyes that she had never seen directed at her. Shocked, Anna stumbled back. She realized this wasn't a random meeting or a fleeting affair. This was Igor's other life, hidden from her, a carefully guarded secret, a woman, a child. This was his other family. Unable to watch any longer, Anna rushed back to the car. She slammed the door shut and started the engine. Her hands trembled, and tears blurred her vision. She turned the car around and drove back onto the road, not knowing where she was going or what to do. She drove blindly, tears streaming down her face. One thought pulsed in her mind. How could he? How could he do this to me? She felt betrayed, deceived, and utterly broken. Everything she believed in, her entire happy life, crumbled in an instant. She recalled their first meeting, their wedding, their plans for the future. It all felt like a lie now, a deception. She wondered when it had started, when Igor had begun living a double life. Had she been so blind that she hadn't noticed anything? Gradually, the shock began to fade, giving way to hurt and anger. Anna felt rage boiling inside her. She wanted to turn back, confront Igor, and tell him exactly what she thought of him. But at the same time, she was afraid of hearing the truth, afraid that all her suspicions would be confirmed. Memories flashed through her mind, moments that once seemed insignificant but now took on new meaning. His frequent trips to his parents, his late returns, his recent detachment. It all formed a single, horrific, and painful picture. Anna pulled over to the side of the road and buried her face in her hands. She sobbed uncontrollably, unable to hold back her emotions. It felt as though her heart had shattered into 1,000 pieces, never to be whole again. She sat there for a long time until her tears dried and her anger began to subside. A single thought emerged. What now? She knew she couldn't just let it go or pretend nothing had happened. She needed to uncover the truth, to understand what lay behind it all. Gathering her strength, Anna started the car and drove back to the city. She decided she wouldn't make a scene, wouldn't scream or accuse. She would try to stay calm and listen to Igor. She needed to understand what had happened before making any decisions. The drive home felt endless. Anna drove in silence, lost in her thoughts. She tried to imagine how their conversation would go. What would Igor say? What would she say? She knew it would be the hardest conversation of her life. But in the end, Anna chose a different approach. A few days later, she returned to the village, not as a betrayed wife, but as a casual acquaintance, an anthropologist studying a strange tribe called family. She mustered the strength to concoct a story. She was supposedly interested in local architecture and old houses. It was silly, absurd, but it was something. This time, she didn't hide. She parked by the roadside, took a deep breath, and walked toward the house. Her heart pounded so loudly it seemed the whole street could hear it. At the gate stood the woman, Elena, the one she'd seen with Igor. "Hello," Anna said quietly, trying to keep her voice steady. "I heard you have a very interesting house." Elena looked at her closely. There was no hostility or surprise in her gaze, only a quiet weariness. "Come in," she said, opening the gate. "I'm Elena." Anna gave a fake name, Irina. They entered the house. It was clean and simple inside, smelling of freshly baked bread and baby formula. In the corner, a boy was playing. "Sasha, this is Sasha," Elena introduced. The boy looked at Anna with curiosity but didn't approach. "Nice to meet you," Anna said, trying not to stare at him too intently. They sat at the kitchen table. Elena offered tea and Anna accepted. In the silence, as Elena poured boiling water, Anna studied her. Nothing extraordinary. An ordinary woman, tired but with kind eyes. Not a femme fatale, not a homewrecker, just a mother. "Have you lived here long?" Anna asked, trying to keep the conversation going. "A couple of years," Elena replied. "And Igor, he comes often." "What? How do you know?" Elena set the cups on the table. "He comes every Sunday, helps with chores. He helps me and Sasha." Anna felt a lump in her throat. "I saw you with him a few days ago. I'm his wife." Elena was silent, looking at Anna with a strange understanding. "I see," she said finally. "Igor didn't tell you?" Number I had no idea. Silence fell. The only sound was the ticking of the clock on the wall. Anna felt like she was at an exam where the question had been asked, and her entire future depended on the answer. "Why?" Anna asked, breaking the silence. "Why didn't he tell me?" "You'd have to ask him," Elena replied. "But I think he was afraid of losing you." "And you? Do you love him?" Elena gave a sad smile. "I loved him once, deeply, but that was a long time ago. Now we just share responsibility for Sasha, nothing more. Igor comes as a father, as a friend, but not as a man. There's nothing between us anymore." Anna wasn't sure whether to believe her, but Elena's voice carried such sincerity that doubt seemed unwarranted. "And he loves Sasha more than life itself," Elena added, looking at her son. "He's a wonderful father, always caring for him, helping. Sasha adores him." Anna looked at the boy. He was playing with a toy car, humming to himself. Suddenly, he looked up and met Anna's gaze. There was no fear or hostility in his eyes, only curiosity. Anna smiled at him. He returned a shy smile. And Igor? Is he happy? Anna asked, looking away. Elena sighed. I don't know. It's hard for him. He's torn between two lives. He wants to be honest but can't. He's afraid of hurting you. He's afraid of losing Sasha. And what about me? Doesn't he think about how much this hurts me? He does, but he hoped you'd never find out, that he could keep this secret. Naive, Anna whispered. Maybe, but he didn't do it out of malice. He was just trying to do right by everyone. Anna wondered, is it right to lie for years, to hide the truth, to live a double life? Is that right, or is it just cowardice? Why are you telling me all this? She asked, looking into Elena's eyes. Because I see you're in pain, and because I want you to know the truth. Igor is a good man. He doesn't deserve to be hated. He's just lost. Aren't you afraid I'll take him away from you? Elena shook her head. No, I know you won't, and even if you did, I wouldn't hold him by force. The main thing is that Sasha is happy. The rest will follow. Anna fell silent. Can happiness be built on deception? She didn't know. She felt two opposing emotions battling within her, anger and understanding, hurt and forgiveness. Thank you, she said, standing up. Thank you for the tea and the truth. You're welcome, Elena replied. If you want to talk, I'm always here. Anna left the house. Outside, the fresh air and bright sun awaited, but her heart remained dark and troubled. She got into the car and drove home. She needed time to think, to figure out what to do next. At home, Igor was waiting. He sat on the couch, head bowed. When he saw Anna, he stood up. Where were you? He asked. Anna looked at him. His eyes held fear and hope. I was with Elena, she replied. Igor paled but didn't deny anything. He spoke for a long time, haltingly, as if justifying himself to himself. About Elena, about their brief romance just before meeting Anna, about Sasha's birth, about how he couldn't abandon his child, about his sense of responsibility, about how he was afraid to tell Anna, afraid of losing her. I knew I was being despicable, he said, head bowed. I lied to you, but I didn't see another way. I didn't want to hurt you, Anya, I swear. I never stopped loving you. Anna was silent. She looked at him, searching for the truth in his eyes. She saw remorse, pain, but also a stubborn resolve. He had made his choice, and it wasn't just about him. The night passed in silence. They lay on their respective sides of the bed, a chasm between them. Anna couldn't sleep. Her mind swirled with thoughts, fragments of phrases, memories. She recalled their life, their love, their plans for the future. It all seemed fragile now, unreal. She didn't know what she felt. Anger, hurt, disappointment, or something more complex and profound. In the morning, Igor left for work, leaving Anna alone. She wandered the apartment like a ghost. Everything felt foreign, unfamiliar. Even the books on her shelves, which she loved so dearly, now seemed false, hypocritical. She stood by the window and looked outside. The world went on as if nothing had happened. People rushed to work. Children played in the yard. Birds sang in the trees. But her life had collapsed in an instant. She remembered Elena's words about Igor being a good father, about how he cared for Sasha, about how there was nothing between them but responsibility. Anna wasn't sure whether to believe her, but something in Elena's voice and gaze suggested she was telling the truth. Anna knew she needed time to think, to make a decision. She couldn't simply forgive Igor, but she couldn't just leave him either. Too much bound them. Too much had been invested in their relationship. The next day, Anna told Igor she needed to leave. She needed to be alone to think things through. Igor didn't try to stop her. He understood she had that right. Anna went to a different village, not to Igor's parents, but to an old dacha she owned. She spent several days there walking in the forest, reading books, reflecting on her life. She recalled their first meeting, their wedding, their early years together. Everything had been so good, so calm, so reliable. Could it all have been a lie? Had Igor been living a double life all these years? Anna couldn't believe it. She knew Igor as an honest, decent man. How could he have done this to her? But then she remembered Elena's words about how Igor didn't want to hurt her, how he feared losing her, how he did it all for Sasha. And Anna began to understand. She realized Igor hadn't cheated on her in the traditional sense. He wasn't seeking thrills on the side. He was simply fulfilling his duty as a father. But that didn't make his actions any less painful. He had still betrayed her, deceived her, and denied her the right to know the truth. Anna knew she had to decide what to do next. She could leave Igor and start a new life. She could try to forgive him and live as if nothing had happened. Or she could try to understand him, to grasp what drove him to make this choice, to understand how he had lived with this burden all these years. She knew it wouldn't be easy. She would have to overcome her pride, her pain, her hurt. She would have to accept that Igor wasn't perfect, that he had weaknesses, flaws, and secrets. But if she truly wanted to save their family, if she truly loved Igor, she would have to do it. One morning, Anna woke with a firm decision. She knew what she had to do. She packed her things and drove back to the city. Igor was waiting for her. He sat on the couch, head bowed. When Anna walked in, he looked up. His eyes held so much pain and hope that Anna's heart ached. "I know everything," Anna said. "I understand." Igor was silent, waiting for her to continue. "I've decided," Anna said. "I'm staying." Igor stood and approached her. He hugged her tightly. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for everything." Anna pulled back. "But that doesn't mean I've forgotten," she said. "It doesn't mean I've forgiven. We'll need to work hard to rebuild trust. We'll need to learn to live differently." Igor nodded. He knew she was right. "I'm ready for anything," he said, "as long as you're by my side." Anna smiled. "Then let's go," she said. "To the village." Igor looked at her surprised. "To Elena and Sasha?" he asked. "Yes," Anna replied. "I want to meet them." Igor was silent for a moment. Then he nodded. "All right," he said. "Let's go." The next morning, Anna and Igor drove to the village. Anna had a bag of homemade pastries in the trunk, prepared specially for Elena and Sasha. She wanted to show them she held no grudge, that she was ready to accept them into her life. As they approached Elena's house, Anna felt nervous. She didn't know how she'd be received or what to say. Elena came out of the house and smiled at Anna. "I knew you'd come," she said. Sasha ran out and hid behind Elena, peering at Anna curiously. "This is Anna," Elena said to Sasha. "She's Igor's wife." Sasha peeked out from behind Elena and looked at Anna. Then he smiled. "Hi," he said. Anna smiled back. "Hi, Sasha," she said. "I brought you a treat." She opened the trunk, took out the bag of pastries, and handed it to Elena. "This is for you," she said. "I hope you like it." Elena took the bag and thanked her. "Come inside," she said. "I'll put the kettle on." Anna and Igor entered the house. Sasha followed. They sat at the table drinking tea and talking about everything and nothing, weather, children, life. Anna felt strange. On one hand, she was uneasy and uncomfortable. On the other, she felt a sense of relief. She felt she was making the right choice. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this.